Oh my God. Look at him right here on screen. Now, warning before I begin, if you're not Trinitarian, stop this video now, because if you aren't Trinitarian, you're going to find you have absolutely no basis whatsoever for not being Trinitarian. So turn off the video if you're not Trinitarian. So if you didn't turn off the video now, I assume that you're Trinitarian, because you're going to need to just sit down in shock. You see these numbers on this? These purple numbers, purple number of royalty, that's in all of my web pages and in all of my little write-ups. I use purple to mean Trinity. Trinity meter. The numbers divisible by 3 of all the Bible books. And this is the second to the last one in the New Testament. I've only got one New Testament book left to abstract. Of all the Bible books I have ever done meter on, this is the first one I've ever seen where every single number, until we get to this, the Lord should have been age, every one of them is divisible by 3. Now, I did what I normally do. I just take the text, and then I look for the clause differential, okay? And then I parse it that way. I put it on a new line, kind of like a poem, but really more so that I have, so that the text doesn't run into the right-hand side of the screen. I had no idea. 9 and 6 and 9 and 9 and 6 and 9 and 12 and 6. Looks like our boy Paul wants to stress Trinity, huh? Kill me now. So what possibly could be the issue here? Well, the idea is you got Father and Son and Spirit, and you don't cut any of them out. My guess is that there was a lot of arguing about whether Trinity was valid, because that sounds like the pagan gods, right? That argument continues today. But whatever it is, honey, it really matters that there be Trinity, okay? It's just amazing. I've never seen so many numbers, strung together like this in a Bible book meter passage. So that's just how I'm, introducing it. Now, you probably noticed this is 33. Paul always finds a way to put the Lord's age somewhere early on in the 30s. But this time he's not using the Lord's name. He's using the word aletheos. Even an epignosis buildable, knowledge of the truth. Yeah, and he's the way, the truth, and the life. He has mentioned him by name, but now he's getting real cute, because he's talking to Titus, who's the teacher. All right? So he can afford to get a little cuter than normal. The Lord was 33 when he died. The truth died when he was 33. All right? The truth is now age 66. And Paul reserves that to match up with before chronon, time, before time, ages ago, long beforehand. Of course, see that he's God and man, okay? So long beforehand. Well, here's the pun on this. Long beforehand was Ephesians. Ephesians was written long beforehand about, because this is really, was 66 AD, the Lord is 69 at the time writes, because he's writing in the should have been age. So it was about 10 years prior that Ephesians came out. Long beforehand, Paul used this as his first benchmark for possible tribulation date, and what does end up happening, okay, in this very year that he's writing, which is 66 AD, that's when there's a rebellion, see, because that's what these numbers are going to talk to. That's when there's a rebellion in Jerusalem against the guy who was newly sent there named Florus. Okay, as a result of the rebellion in Jerusalem, and I don't know if Paul is writing before or after it. I can't tell exactly yet, but I'll probably be able to figure it out. In the same year, let's put it that way, when Florus is appointed and he arrives to Jerusalem, he does something, I forget what, something to do with the money. He takes money from the temple, and everybody gets so upset about Florus taking money from the temple that they rebel. Nero gets all upset about it, and he sends a guy named, get ready, Vespasian. Vespasian had been cooling his heels up in northern Germany. Actually, it wasn't quite Germany. It's the part which we would call Eastern Europe today. And he'd been there for, 20 years or so. And now he's finally getting called by Nero, who apparently he had a run-in, and so he ended up having to sort of not secretly so much, but he's in the backwaters, okay, running troops and stuff. It turns out that he was really good at it, okay? So Nero ends up saying, Vespasian, because Nero was in Greece at the time, and Vespasian was just above him in Thrace and Dacia in that area. And so somebody said, hey, send Vespasian to go clean up Jerusalem. So that's what Nero had done at this time. Okay? Now, if you look in history, we call that 66 AD to 73 AD. This is when Paul is writing. He benchmarked it in Ephesians. Go look at my GGS 11 channel, because I did videos on it showing how he benchmarked it. This was our first earliest trib date because, see, 33, the Lord would have been dead as long as he was alive. So it's 33 is when he died. It's now 66. Of course, this should have been 66. He's really 69. Okay. Payback time. Okay. So everything in his meter is setting Titus up for deep warning. The end is coming. Okay. Yeah. And Paul's going to be arrested within, I don't know, some months after he writes this. Okay. Because the letter that's after this is 2 Timothy. All right. He wrote 2 letters before he got jailed the second time. He wrote 1 Timothy and he wrote this. And I've already done the 1 Timothy video. I posted it yesterday, day before yesterday. It's now the 12th. Okay? So this is real prescient. This is just really as biting as it gets. Now he's making a play on it because of what the date means, because either he knew or God told him and it wasn't common knowledge yet. Vespasian had just been dispatched. And it would take Vespasian 2 years before he could get everything that he needed together in order to invest Jerusalem. Okay? He gets there right away, but he's got a lot he has to end up doing because there's problems with the governor in Syria and a whole bunch of other stuff. I'm covering that in my Year of the 4 Emperors channel. Okay, but this is, because the Lord is really 69, that stands for midpoint. It's 3 years more than. Okay, well in Daniel 9:27, the temple was supposed to fall at midpoint. This is a dramatic warning because once you see the Ephesians piece, it's real obvious what he was doing. And the temple did go down at 70. The temple's going to go down in 4 years from when Paul writes. So his next play, using the 3s again, because he's mirroring Trinity, but he's also mirroring 3.5 and 3.5 for mid-trib. Okay? 93 is mid-trib. I mean, it depends on how you want to count it. But it's mid-trib. That's what it stands for. Because Christ, for his 90th birthday, the tribulation starts and it ends on his 97th birthday. So 93, since there's no such thing as a half a syllable, 93 is in the middle. Okay, 93.5, or you could even say 94.5. Let's go 97 minus 90. Okay, divided by 2, yeah, 3.5. You can't do a half a syllable, so he has to round it down. And that's a Bible convention, you round down. So they use last birthday, last year, latest year. They don't generally use nearest. So that's the kicker about this epistle. Before you even get to the dateline meters. And each one of these dateline meters is bad. This is 59.5 times 2. Okay? This one is, what was it? 66.5. He's playing on the Lord's age here, mirroring the age. The should have been. What should have been ain't going to happen. We're not on should have been. We're on the reality schedule. The reality schedule is different. Should have been, we've missed. So that's why this is 119. 59.5. You missed the 56th, the 57th day, which was supposed to be Pentecost. This is 66.5. You missed 63, which was your, the vote. The last time vote, you got 7 years left. That's supposed to stand for the trib. So we're in the middle of it. See 66.5 right here. That's also playing on the Lord. Should have been age. They always play equidistance. That's what he's showing here. 33. Now he's been dead as long as he's been alive. That's equidistance. That's Psalm 90 in play. Give us as many good days as bad days. Okay? And then 147. Oh my gosh. That's 49 times 3. That's the same meter he used to the Galatians to ream them out. Now he's not reaming out Titus. He's using this to warn him of what's upcoming. Because Titus is supposed to be appointing pastors, and that's what the letter is basically about. Okay? Isn't this cool? Now, like I said, it's very mistranslated. You say Eusebes. This is Sebes. This is U. U means good. Sebes means in harmony with the gods. Okay? Or it's a question of being in harmony with the gods. Okay? Asebes means that you're not in harmony with the gods. Eusebes means that you are. So it comes to mean the spiritual life. And the guy who came up with that definition is a guy named, he's kind of controversial amongst Bible scholars. His name is Rudolf Bultmann. And I wish I could give you a citation, but I heard my pastor talk about Bultmann's definition of this word so many times that I can just say it off the top of my head. My pastor's been dead for, since 2009. But I've been under him for my whole adult life. So that's how come I can remember this stuff. Well, actually, because God calls it back to my mind. But this means spiritual life. If you're not using 1 John 1:9, your spiritual life's comatose. It does not mean godliness. That's the translation. It's wrong. It means being in harmony, sebes. Being together with, in harmony, walking together with, on step with, on the same page. Ew, good. Ah, not good. Okay? So you can get a real, pithy, biting, trenchant meaning out of the meter mixed with the words. Okay? So when he says, based on the hope of eternal life, they're not just words. He's mixing that with these meters. Okay? And I don't have time to explain all of them because I got to get to the dateline. All right? But this is one really pithy letter, man. So it's also 1 page. I'm keeping it short for right now because I got to go to work in 3 days, and then I won't be able to make videos like this. So I'm trying to get as much done now as I can. Okay. Let's just walk through the meter. You can see the meter. The date meters are this one and this one. This is extra. This is like a tag. Okay? He's tagging Ephesians at the same syllable, which is when the temple goes down in 147 AD. So maybe somewhere he switched to AD here. Okay, because in Ephesians, this is an AD year. It's Bar Kokhba. And then this is when Aeolia Capitolina has been standing up. All right, so I don't know if he switches to AD here. He might, but I have to test it. I don't know. But here's what the dateline meaning of it is. 119 divided by 2. 60 years. After what? Judea became a Roman province. You see why this is pithy? Because he's writing in 66 AD when Jerusalem either just has or is just about to. rebel. She's a Roman province at this time. So he's making a real pithy statement. Hi, 60 years after you became a province, you're rebelling. And that's going to lead to the destruction of Jerusalem in 70 AD. And, the year of the four emperors. Okay, which is why I have a whole channel just dedicated to that topic. All right. So he says, hi, I'm writing you 60 years after Judea became a Roman province. Now you see why he's using historical. Okay, but that's not all he's doing. This is unbelievable. When I first was doing it, I thought, oh, this can't be right. He's also writing 119 years after 53 BC, when what? Crassus sacked the temple. He took all kinds of money out of the temple in Jerusalem. Okay? It was on his way to Parthia. You can look this up. That's what I did. Like, what was 53 BC? Yeah, well, because that's just about what's going to happen now as a result of this being on that he predicted back in Ephesians. As a result of Nero just having ordered Vespasian, which either Paul knows about because it was current news, or it was just about to happen and nobody knows about it yet. That's why this matters. The temple's going to be sacked. Okay? That's why this historical emphasis is here. All right? And just to make sure you know, 133 is your next date line right here. Really pregnant in Isaiah 53. 133 divided by 2 is 66 years after the Lord should have been born on the Abrahamic schedule. 4106 is when he should have been born. And if ever you want to convert a date to BC, you subtract 4106 from your AD date, from your BC date, and that'll be your equivalent Adamic year. If you want to know what year Adamic it is in the AD, you add 4106 to an AD year. Okay? Awesome stuff. Absolutely awesome stuff. So we know for sure he's doing that. And he's saying 66.5, which means he's talking at or near the end of the vernal year in the summer. Summer is the time of war. Summer is the time when troops get moving. Okay? Troops are marching right now as he's talking, or they will soon be. Okay, I'm reading a book on Vespasian now, and I got to find out in what month Vespasian left. I read it, but I forgot. Okay, did Paul know it before it became news, or is he writing it like this because it became news? See, that gives a whole new meaning to this text. See, one of the rules about interpreting the Bible is you have to know the isagogics. Well, this meter is part of the isagogics. And now you're finding out what isagogics matter. Judea becoming a Roman province, and now she's rebelling against Florus. That's going to result in the sacking of the temple. It's not going to be just a little small thing that, breaks up and stops. So, dress rehearsal happened in 53 BC, 119 years before our writing. It's going to happen again. Give us as many good days as bad days. History repeats itself. Okay, and just in case you're not sure that you got your math right, hi, it's 66.5 years after the Lord should have been born. Okay, well, if he should have been born in December, this has to be June. So it's December because see, half a year. So sometime in the summer. Okay, period. And just no brainer here. Now, there's other dates here I'm not talking about because I don't know what they reference. They reference something in Zechariah's prophecy. I got to go look it up. And then when he goes past Zechariah's prophecy, which ended at 4240, I did a timeline, but I don't remember what the result was that plotted out the anniversaries going past the millennium. But I don't remember what they are, so I got to look it up. So I'll have to fill this in and edit it later to tell you what these dates mean. But he's forecasting that the rapture's not going to occur on time. So he's benchmarking these future years. Why, I don't know yet. I got to find out. There'll be a way to know what they represent, but I don't know right now. And then just to make sure that you understand the historical importance of what he's writing about right now. He takes another date line, 67 BC, okay? 67 BC was when another usurper, the Maccabean line, usurped the kingship from the house of Judah, from the house of David. They also usurped the priesthood, okay? They usurped the priesthood from the rightful line of Levi, okay? And Hyrcanus had come to power in 67 BC. He ended up being ousted by Julius Caesar, who set up Herod instead. So he's benchmarking high. Usurpers are coming. History repeats itself. Usurpers are coming. The temple's going to be sacked again because Jerusalem is rebelling against Rome. It could be the rapture, is the point. You know, time is ending for Jerusalem. Everybody knew that the 40 years was soon going to be up because, you know, that's 4 years from here. But he's really underscoring it by using historical data. And the only thing related to the Lord is how old the Lord should have been at this time. Should have been, not is, should have been. Because what should have been ain't happening. So he's reminding what should have been, and we're not where we should have been. So church is going to be late. And that's why he's using these dates. I know that's why. I'll have to tell you more about it later when I look it up. Usurpers are coming. Okay? The should have been ain't happening. It's what it should have been, but it ain't going to be that way. But what will happen is the temple's going to be sacked, because what is happening is Judea, Judea is rebelling against Rome. Is this cool or what? And then, what I just told you, 119 means trouble, 133 means temple going down due to apostasy, because this is a meter in Isaiah 53. This is a meter in a lot of Bible books. I don't have time to explain it all. And this is triple diaspora, 49 times 3, which was used to upbraid the Galatians for reverting to Judaism. Okay? So 49 times 3. Israel missed 49 sabbatical years. Not 70, 49. Eusebius, who was no more spiritual than fly to China, his name was named after this word, Eusebiah. He wasn't spiritual. Sorry. He couldn't even count. He said that Israel missed 70 sabbatical years. No, it was 49 from Rehoboam forward. The Bible makes that really, really clear. I don't understand why these people don't know. Okay? So, Paul is piling up the judgment. These are judgment meters at the end of what he's telling Titus. If you were Titus and you're reading this in Greek and you knew the meter, you'd be like, oh my God. Bad times, really bad times ahead. Jerusalem's going to be sacked twice. First here, and then again, we're going to have another rehearsal 70 years after the fact. They're going to rebel again with Bar Kokhba, and at that point, the whole city is going to be razed. It's going to be rebuilt as a Roman city. So the plan of the city now is not like the plan that it originally was. And a pig temple is going to stand where the Holy of Holies is right now. And actually, that's still true, because the Dome of the Rock is standing right over where the Holy of Holies used to be. That rock, the rock that it's the dome of, the rock was the rock of the Holy of Holies, the bedrock, Mount Moriah. Is this cool or what? So that's your introduction into Titus's meter. And I'd love to say more about it. I guess I should say, oh yeah, I do. I got to say a couple more things. Sorry. Okay, Hebraism, so it's one syllable. Ionu, okay, you sound. Ionion, idiois sound, so it's one syllable. This is Crassus, he always uses it. Kyrene, this is Hebraism, but we got some textual variants here that make all the difference. Okay? The textual variants are that I'm including. What you're seeing in front of you is the UBS text, except that this was a textual variant that the UBS excluded, and it should have been excluded because you don't need to repeat Hamon. You reserve it at the end, which Paul always does. But these are textual variants not in the UBS text, but in dozens of other Bible manuscripts, some of which are pretty important, like the majority text, Textus Receptus. And so the question is, well, why didn't the UBS text include it? Probably because they didn't know how to test for it. Okay? Now watch. Haris eleos kairene apoteo patros. Kai kuriuk, kai, wait a minute, kai kuriuk Christu Jesu tu soteros hemon. See, it fits. And they're both 14 syllables, which they ought to be. Okay? Because Christ and God are equal. You get that? All right? The importance of pairing up like this and using 14s is to say, yes, all this really bad stuff is going to happen. But, see, plan of God, triple, Trinity is involved, Trinity is involved, Trinity is involved, Trinity is involved. He's 66. I already explained that in my Ephesians. Okay? So, 14, it is the will of God that this happen. Don't worry. But be prepared. Be alert. Okay? So this has a lot more punch. The standard greeting gets the eleos in there. All right? Which is in like, I don't know, dozens of manuscripts, including the majority text and Textus Receptus, which is related. Charis eleos kairene apoteo patros. Kai kuriou Christu Jesu tu soteros hemon. Normally, kuriou is 2 syllables. Here it's 3. Because of the meter. Okay? Charis eleos kairene apoteo patros. Kai kuriou Jesu. I'm sorry, because this might be Jesu Christu. It might be in reverse order, but the meter's the same, so I'm not going to bother with it. Some manuscripts reverse it. Okay? Kai kuriou Christu Jesu tu soteros hemon. See? It fits. So that's why I'm including these variants. And then up here, I explained. CNTTS Apparatus and Bible Works list these variants. The eleos is in variant unit number 7. So you can see what the manuscripts are because there are too many for me to list. And then kuriou is in variant number 17. So you can go to the CNTTS Apparatus, which is online, or use your Bible Works 9 if you're lucky enough to have it. And if you're not, ask God to give you the money and go get it. Seriously, you should own that. Okay? Unit 17 has kuriou in it. And when you see how many Bible manuscripts are there, it's like, why didn't the UBS text count it? I don't know, but who cares? Okay? So, that's the difference. That's very technical, I suppose, but and you can understand, you know, doctrinally, it doesn't make a whole lot of difference. Okay, it's a greeting. We all know if it's not in this text, it's in another text. Okay, fine. And, you know, kuriou, who doesn't know that he's Lord? But it matters for the meter. It matters for the doctrinal message that's running beneath the text and interacting with it. So, yes, it's important. See? Really important. So I'll leave you with that, and you can go look it up in the CNTTS yourself. You now know where to look. Variant Unit 7 and Variant Unit 17. And, you know, mull it over. Because this is all original research. My authority is the Word of God. I'm just showing you what's there. And then you decide whether I'm all wet or not. And if you think I made a mistake, please let me know. Because I like criticism, actually. The trouble is I very seldom get it. Usually I just get somebody saying, well, I don't agree with you, Brayna. Well, that doesn't help me. Tell me why. If you think I'm wrong, tell me why. You know? I'm trying to say why when I think somebody else is wrong. Why? I'm not really trying to criticize. I'm trying to diagnose. Okay, so that's here. There's a diagnosis. Hi, the meter fits. This is why it fits. See how coherent the explanation is in light of the letter of Titus. So that's it. Peace out.